This movie says, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, is one man's journey back to health through the simple act of juicing. Joe the Juicer is here. Hi, Joe. Thank you so much for coming on the air with us.
Hi, Carol. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you have had an amazing ride. This has just been incredible what you've done. So I'd like to take everybody back to the beginning in case there's anybody out there who hasn't seen the movie or doesn't know what your journey was. You started out how?
I was 320 pounds.
I can't even imagine it. You're such a handsome man.
Thank you, Carol.
How did you get yourself up to 320
Oh, well,
pounds?
it's pretty easy, actually. I sort of did what the average person does. I was eating about 60% of my calories are coming from processed food, about a third from animal product, and just like 7% was coming from fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans, and seeds. Food made by Mother Nature.
So basically your snacks.
Yeah, well, basically, yeah. I mean, they were the pickles that were on the burgers. You know, the lettuce or the tomato on the burger, or the vegetarian pizza that was with the pepperoni. So, you know, I got to the age of 40, and I looked in the mirror, and I really didn't recognise who was looking back. And I kind of looked 60, and I had the heart of probably a 60-year-old. And so I'd been on medication for a debilitating autoimmune disease, Carol, since I was 32. I sort of looked at myself and said, this isn't normal. This isn't how I'm supposed to live my life.
No, but don't people say to you, Carol, don't worry about it, you're aging. That's what people were saying to me when I was 32. They go, don't worry about it, that's aging. You need the NyQuil to fall asleep, the Afrin for your sinuses. That's just aging.
We think it's normal, right?
That's the issue.
I guess what happened, it was this aha moment came to me when I hit 40. You know, in my 30s, I was kind of like, I'm invincible, it's all right. But it was just hitting the big 4-0. And I remember looking in the mirror, I was getting sick and tired of people asking me when the twins were going to be due.
Oh my God.
I was, you know, I was on the pills 3 or 4 a day, every morning, every night. And I thought, you know what? I've got to fix this. So the journey began, and the journey was to be open to hearing what other people had to say, to listen to people, to do some exploring about myself and my life and what was important.
I think the journey started when you admitted there was a problem.
That's right. That's right.
That's the issue. I think people look at themselves and they say, oh, it is what it is, or I can't do anything about this, or I'm not as disciplined as you, or whatever. So,
but it's got to come from within. And see, for me, it came from within. So then, look, cutting a long story short, it took me 6 months to work out what to do. I put a plan into place, and the plan was I need to go back to Mother Nature. We are the most successful species on this planet, Carol. What have we been eating mostly during our time here? We have been eating plants. That's what we've eaten the most of. So I said, right, I'm going back to plants. So I decided to eat only fruits and vegetables, nuts, beans and seeds and whole grains for a 2-year period. But to supercharge the beginning of my 2-year journey, I decided to juice only fruits and veggies for 60 days. And when I told some friends about this, they said, Joe, you got to put a camera on yourself. This is amazing. You're like an investment banker guy. You're the most least likely guy to do this. And so I came to America. I bought a truck. I bought a juicer. I loaded up the cart with fruits and veggies, and I got a film crew, and off I went.
You lost all that in 60 days.
Yes, no, let me explain.
There's hope for everybody.
No, let me explain. What I was open to was the fact that 70% of all disease is caused by lifestyle choices. Okay? So now I'm sick. You've got to think about this. If you're sick and you're on chronic pills and you're diseased and and you hear that 70% of the people are causing it to themselves, and therefore 30% is just unlucky, right? It's just the way that genetic pool that you got from your mum and dad. So I thought, wow, this is a chance for me to get off my pills. So I have to go, I've done the crime, I now need to do the time. And the time was going back to all this healthy food, which at the time I thought was going to be really hard. Exactly. I thought it was going to be like a prison sentence. So the juicing part came to me when I realised that really I was carrying all this extra energy around, waiting for what I call a nutritional famine to come along. And so the idea of juicing was to supercharge my body with all of these incredible phytonutrients, little packets of sunlight that are only really found, as you know, in plant food. And so the journey of the juicing was what we captured mostly on film, but it took another 3 months after the juicing journey to only eat fruits, veggies, nuts, beans and seeds before I was off all medication. So I didn't need to do 2 years. In actual fact, in 5 months, I'd reversed 20 years of disease.
And lost how many pounds?
Well, I went from 320 to the top down to 220, and now I've settled in at a nice 235, 240 is where I've balanced out at.
It's been an incredible journey, and I know that you're into a lot of other things. I've heard you're expanding out. I wish you all the luck in everything that you do, and I so appreciate you being here to talk to us. I've been trying to get you on the show for a while.
Thank you, Carol. It's great to be here.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you. If you've seen my